Okay, so the ocean is and the waves are the next bit that we're going to do. I've been playing around with my ocean colour. It's a little bit too blue. I want to make it a little bit greener, but I can easily do that with a wash. You know that you'd use some tape to give yourself some nice sharp line. So I've been dropping the lightening the tone of the sky, and so I just put a bit of tape down and lift that up as I do that. So that relativity between sky and ocean is super important to me. You know, check that yours is in the right relationship. I want to make this lighter just to create that afternoon light impact. So my ocean colour, there are a few little bits of some little waves out to sea. So again, that could easily be done. Probably, I haven't done this. I'm just winging this. So I've got some of that. I've got a bit of muck on my brush, so I had some liquid on it. I'll try again, get rid of that. Here we go, liquid and white. So it's not going to be much, there's not going to be much paint put on here. I'll take a very small amount of blue. I don't want these to be bright marks. I want them to be relatively light, but not so light that they stand out, because they're very much in the distance. This is probably going to be some of the trickiest stuff to do. But essentially the process is something like this. I've got wet ridge, wet beach. So look, I'll try and just show you in broad terms how this is done. I'm just touching little bits here, way too thick. It's sort of quite hard to do it with this brush. I'm just trying to stick with the brushes that we've got. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my nice stiff dry brush. I'll give that a quick wipe, make sure there's nothing on it, and then I'll bring that in and make these more horizontal. So you can see what I've done there, and likewise with that one. So that's not too bad, I don't think, and even you could just kind of brush over it and smooth it out even more. So that's the way you could get some sense of white water out there, just very fine touches. And then a dry brush to sort of flatten that out and create the sense of those white waters out to sea. Look, if you wanted to make these not so long, you could easily just come down, sort of pinch them like that, so that they're a little bit smaller. So sort of chop them off. You obviously don't want them in one line. So, and certainly if you want to really remove anything you've done, I've just dipped this in a bit of turp, so honestly that will just take it away, yeah. And see, that makes sort of quite nice little marks that are reminiscent of whitewater, but very subtle. Okay, so you've seen how to do that. The waves, obviously, you'll need to work on them. I've given you some ideas on how to do that. I think one of the most important things about the waves is at the very end, in your detailing, you save your tonal best to last, and your tonal best is a white. So I'm just going to mix up something here with a bit of titanium white. And you would just try and look in the picture and say to yourself, okay, where are the brightest waves? Well, there's a very bright one there in that corner, just there. So you might mix up some nice pure white and then drop in a little bit of that white there. But you wouldn't do that along the whole of the wave. You would really use that sparingly, because the more you you extend your use of white, the more you lose the accent of that particular point. So just pick some points on your waves where you want to have some pure white, and then put it in there. And you can see the relativity of that to the ones either side. It's quite pleasing to the eye. And likewise, possibly, you know, you could put some pure white, just a couple of dabs of pure white here on the front edge. But again, it's very subtle and you can sort of pull it back. So white is very powerful when it's used in small amounts. And that's certainly what I'd be doing, is I'd be going over my waves, trying to see, you know, where the brightest whites were, and then dropping some bright white out there. So like in this wave here, just for accent purposes, really putting some white there that draws attention to that particular wave, breaking out the back of the lagoon. And by corollary, that's probably a little bit too white there. It's sort of demanding attention, which I don't really want. So I'd probably wind that back a bit with a little bit of a covering of bluey, off blue white. So look, that's about it. Couple of things to watch. I would make this line along here very straight. That's how I see it in the picture. You can lighten your ocean a bit just to provide an accent to that. You've already done this blue. It's good to have a nice sharp edge between the blue and the beach. If you want to bring this down below the horizon like I've done, then fine. It's a bit of extra work and may not be, you know, you may not really feel like you want to do it. You know, make sure this line's pretty good. This little bit here, I haven't really put out any green out. I haven't finished that off into the lagoon, but I would add more phthalo green and just put a bit of a mix and drop that out and increase that. And I think that is pretty much it for the painting. It's a nice little painting. I've enjoyed it.